Hi and welcome to another video for me, Dr. Mahmoud Al-Odeh. In this video, I will be talking about the voice of the customer. What is the voice of the customer and why this is important in quality assurance? Voice of the customer, it's an in-depth process intended to capture customers' experiences and preferences. So whatever way that you're trying to find and reach to the customer opinion, this is what we call the voice of the customer. We need to hear their voices. We need to hear what they think of our product or service. The process of collecting the information from the customer, it's called the voice of the customer. Again, this is an in-depth process that intended, what is the goal for this one? To capture the customer expectations and preferences. In Six Sigma, now we're still talking about Six Sigma here, and where is the voice of the customer in this phases, the 5 phases, in the DMAC phases? This is in the define phase. The voice of the customer should be in the DMAC phase, and a statement made by a customer regarding a product or a statement. So we need to, in order to implement the Six Sigma, we need to hear what the customer, if you need to improve a service or a product, the first thing that you want to do is survey your customer or listen to your customer, whether surveying, whether focus group, whether interviewing. There's so many ways to collect ideas from the customers and hear their opinion. And based on the customer feedback, based on voice of the customer, you do the improvement. You say, okay, well, I've heard so many complaints about this product, about this service. Let's investigate. So it is in the define phase. Just looking into the customer facts here, 90% of the companies are using a customer experience to compete in the marketplace. So this is something that you should be aware of. Most of the company, or if not all of them, 90%, they are using the customer expectations. So if you want to compete in the market, you should listen to the customer. Over 80% of the people research online before buying. So now we're dealing with the age of technologies and so many tools that make the customer more aware. And the customer, the first thing that would do, if I want to buy a car, the first thing I would do is search the online and see what the options do I have. So basically educate myself about what the options do I have and the prices as well. The average American spends roughly 109 daily as of July of 2017. So that's something that you should be aware of, that there's so much spending on products and services, and this is what the money is going out to businesses, to companies, and we should be aware of this. Now, this money is coming to where? Going to companies that provide a product or service, and therefore that's a huge amount of money that you could benefit from it. You could bring it to your business. Word of mouth is a key. So one of the things that we do is the reputation. What the people think of your product or service. 57% use recommendations from family and friends or / customer reviews. If you go to Amazon these days, you look into the review of the product or the seller. So this is something, and will give you an idea on how good that service is, what is the quality of that service. Voice of the customer. Successful business understand their customer needs. Customer perceived value is one of the main drivers of business success. So as a quality managers and quality engineers, your goal is to improve the value that the customer will receive. What you do is basically, as a quality, is you remove the non-value added and add more value added to the customer. So that would help you stay in the market and stay competitive. Probability of selling to a new customer between 5 to 20%. It would be great if we could get 5% new customers every month or every year. That would be a great profit that coming into the company. I'm not talking about 20%, but just an idea on how many opportunities you have in the market to expand your market. You could have between 5 to 20% every month to get new customers. Probability of selling to an existing customer 60 to 70%. So now we have to have some plans for these new customers and for these who are existing customer. We have to retain these customers. We need to make them happy. So as you see, 60 to 70%, the majority of the sales because of existing customers. So you should be listening to them. Otherwise, if you're not taking care of your customers, now the customers are not coming back to you. On average, it costs 5 to 25 times more money to attract a new customer rather than retain existing one. So this is something that you should be considering. You said, I want to go and look into recruiting more new customers. But however, the truth is it's cheaper to retain the current customer, the customers that you have right now. To maintain these customers, it would be cheaper and would be more profitable. The entire process of capturing the voice of customer should be data-driven. Do not make assumptions. So now, and the nice thing about quality in our field in particular, we don't use making decisions based on opinions or thoughts. And we learn these problem-solving tools. We learn all these quality assurance techniques to make a right decision based on data. So your decisions should be data-driven. Voice of the customer. So back to the voice of the customer and the importance of the voice of the customer. Uh, what I want to say here is there's so many companies, they are using the voice of the customer, such as Apple and Amazon. And I did mention that to you, 90% of the companies these days try to listen to the customer through different ways. And Apple's and Amazon are customer-centered organization. They want to provide a product and a service that align with the customer needs. Both major companies monitor the customer's experience using their product or services. And this is really important because this is important to their revenue and profit. Benefits, why we need a voice of the customer, why we need to establish some of these programs to listen to the customer. We need to spot early warnings. So if there's something not right, let's fix it right now, instead of just waiting and be surprised with it. So we need to spot early warning in potential brand crisis. Next, evaluate new concepts, ideas, and solutions. So part of the market, it's a competitive market. And part of staying in this competitive market, you need to look into new ideas, new inventors, new thoughts, new solutions, and that will keep you into the market. And some of these thoughts will be coming from your customers. Customize your product service to the customer. So nice thing about the voice of the customer is you know exactly what the customer want, and then you customize your product or service to align with their needs. Increased customer retention. So as I mentioned, it's cheaper to retain customers, to serve the existing customers. It's better than just recruiting new ones. And this, by listening to the voice of the customer, you increase the retention rate. And this is what we need. Serve your customers with what they really need. Now, Sometimes companies and organizations, they offer products or services that are extra and not needed. There are some features that no one uses in it. So why are you confusing your customers? It's better for you to serve your customer with exactly what they need, and you use the voice of the customer systematic techniques to listen to your customer. Add more of these benefits. Voice of the customer creates faster customer resolution. So if there's an issue, you could take care of it right now, which improves the experience. So we need not to have a bad customer experience. If there is a bad customer experience, we should resolve it right away. And the voice of the customer techniques will help you to resolve these issues. Voice of the customer can lead to increase in customer spending. So if they're happy, they would willing to spend more with you. Distinguishes you from your competition, and this is another thing that will that you should consider it. It's just going to make you different than your competitors, and that will give you advantage over over your competitors, and that will keep you longer in the market and more profit. Absolutely. All right, now let's talk about the methods to capture voice of the customer, or the method to capture the feedback, which is basically the voice of the customer. These are customer interviews, on-site customer surveys, recorded data, reviews, net promoter score, and social media. There's so many ways that you could use, and let's talk about some of these techniques. Yeah, before we do that, so what is the cycle of the voice of the customer, the continuous cycle? uh, if you start with listening to the customer, and then you interpret what the customer wants, and that's where the quality team coming their job is to listen to the customer and interpret and convert these from the voice of the customer to the voice of the process, to the technical specification, and then react based on the feedback that they receive. They have to react, and then uh, by implementing the solutions, and then monitor these solutions and see if that's going to work or not. All right, now that's just an introduction for the voice of the customer. Now let's talk about the tools in another video that I will be recording in just a second. So wait for the second part of the voice of the customers, talking about the tools that we use to capture the feedback, the voice of the customer. I'll see you in another video.